starting your own broker in 2018. This is Dan with FX Fluency, where we are always long our clients. And today's webinar is a brief preview regarding starting your own broker in the upcoming year. Right now, this is a very popular topic in the industry, both from a trader standpoint and from an entrepreneurial standpoint. The brokerage industry over the past 10 years or so just continues to grow and grow by leaps and bounds. And if you have some familiarity with the industry and some of the players, you've seen some really interesting things over that time horizon where in some cases you have brokers within 5 to 10 years going public on major exchanges. Other brokers you have seeing opening wide-ranging offices around the world. So how is this explosive growth possible? And how do you get involved? And one of the big things that we get questions about from individuals looking at this industry is, do I have to have a particular background in order to be successful in this industry? And the answer, we don't have to tell you the answer. You only have to look at the upper management of some of the brokers out there that have, in some cases, over 150,000 clients on board. In some cases, have over $1 billion on deposit. And statistics like that, you see, if you look at the upper management of some of those brokers, yes, some of those upper management personnel have traders experience or were traders previously, but in other cases, you don't see that. There's more of an entrepreneurial or marketing background. And because trading is an online business, one thing that you'll learn is the brokerage is as much a financial business as it is a marketing machine. Okay, and so that there's really those two elements of the brokerage that we always have to keep in mind. Now, if you're considering starting your own broker, what are some things that you just have to keep in mind heading into the business? And these are items, of course, that our consulting helps you out with. Some of the key points to keep in mind are incorporation and regulation considerations. Where do you get the broker set up, and what is the most optimal? There's no one answer to that. It actually depends on a few things. Certain jurisdictions have capital requirements, for example, that you might be okay with or that you might want to avoid. Certain regulators are stiffer than others. So these are just some things that we can help talk to you about. What is the optimal front-end platform for your brokerage, and depending upon your target clientele. So some of you might be familiar with the MetaTrader 4 platform. Some of you might be familiar with other web-based platforms like XStation or CTrader. We help target the platform and the back office as well that works best for you. Later on, you might be offering actually more than one platform, but we help dissect this for you. Risk management, of course, as a brokerage, there's an element of risk involved. So when you look at some of this explosive growth that's happened in some of these brokerages, part of it is deeply involves how well they manage their risk and capitalized on the trading volume that was being pushed through their brokerage. So the typical models, STP and Market Maker, we take you through those and help you find the optimal balance for your brokerage, okay? And as an extension, when we get into the operational matters, which are critical, you really need sound operations for the brokerage to run effectively and smoothly day in and day out, 24 hours a day. So in that realm, we're going to get into the bank account conversation and payment service provider conversation as to how your brokerage best takes deposits from your clients and sends out withdrawals. That's a very big part of the industry, of course, and so it's something that we have to take you through. And then getting into kind of looking ahead to post-launch, looking at developing a digital marketing and sales strategy that makes sense for your broker. And depending upon your target market or your target markets, that might not be the same from one broker to the next, at least upon launch and shortly after launch. And because the brokerage is a marketing machine, you really have to work this out prior to launch with some nice guidance along the way. Post-launch, now the brokerage is up and running. You put all of the building blocks in place. Everything is operating smoothly. Everything has been tested from the platform to the back office to the website. The website obviously is your primary conversion funnel, so you need everything there sorted very well. And now you're off to the races. So what are the key considerations just after launch? Well, then we have to really look closely at optimizing our cost per lead and our cost per acquisition as a brokerage. If we can do this effectively, we know that traders, especially very keen traders, the types that will redeposit many times over with the brokerage, that will trade in some cases 24 hours a day with the brokerage. A good example of that is traders who are actually running a robot of some sort, in which case they're not even manually trading for themselves. I mean, this is an example of why the industry can be so lucrative, right? So if I'm paying $5 for a lead, and that lead is making me several $100s or over $1,000 a month, just one client, you can do the ROI yourself. I mean, this is why entrepreneurs, not just traders, are looking at this industry so closely, because they can see the ROI on an acquisition, and it's hard to find in another industry. Continuing on, digital marketing plan execution, right? A digital marketing plan is going to be developed leading up to launch, and then there's the execution phase, right? So, and that involves tweaking, different types of testing over time. As you expand into other target markets, you might approach certain other markets slightly differently as you learn what their traders are about and how they operate. And then, of course, making sure that your sales strategy is on the same page with your marketing plan, right? So a lot of times your website, if it's working well, will act as a conversion funnel, meaning a lot of your clients, your brokerage will actually never speak to, at least initially. And if that is happening, things are going really well. So you have visitors coming to your site, gaining confidence in what your brokerage offering is just from visiting the site and seeing what your value proposition is there, and then going ahead, opening an account, depositing, and starting to trade. Now that will happen if your brokerage is operating well, and of course, as the reputation of the brokerage grows over time, that will happen more and more. There is also a sales element, though, to the brokerage, where you have to speak to a lot of the clients or potential clients. And so you want to make sure that your sales strategy and how you're handling sales is on the same page with your marketing plan. And we can give you some really nice guidance there, both in the beginning and over time after launch. And this, then you start to look as the accounts start flowing. Once you get into the hundreds of accounts, thousands of accounts, now you're going to start paying closer and closer attention to statistics like your average deposit size. Is it growing? Okay, of course it should be. As the reputation of the brokerage grows, your average deposit size should also grow. Redeposits from clients typically should also grow. So somebody who might start an account with something relatively minimal, let's say 500 US dollars, okay, and their first deposit, if things are going well and the client is happy, don't be surprised if their next deposit is something closer to $2,000 or $5,000, okay, because they were just feeling out the brokerage in the beginning. So these are stats that you really want to pay attention to. And then the one that's kind of levels the playing field for all brokerages across the industry that everyone pays close attention to when comparing brokers is your month-over-month trading volume. Okay, how much in volume is the broker conducting? Okay, is being pushed through the platform. This is really the primary metric that brokerages will use to gauge their growth, and of course their revenue, right? Because revenue at the end of the day is directly correlated to trading volume. So these are things that we're all going to look at and certainly talk about as you pursue your own brokerage, which we are really happy to help you do. This is a very brief preview, as mentioned in the beginning. So I'm sure you have questions depending upon where you're coming from in your backgrounds, how close you envision yourself to pursuing this business line. So whatever questions are on your mind right now, feel free to pull up your email, fire me off an email at dan@fxfluency.com. I promise to get back to you within 24 hours to your question, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. So thanks a lot here from FX Fluency, and take care. Bye-bye.